Afternoon, everyone. The chat. Hello. Hello, Miss Sim.
Hello. I think your end has a lot of echo.
Sorry, can hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
No, I think not clear, not so clear. Where is it? Sylvia?
Oh, okay. I can't hear you well as well because there are a lot of echo from your side.
Yeah.
Is it because you have like a few laptops that are signing into the?
We have like 2 laptops here. Okay, okay. Okay, can you hear me now? Or is it still echo?
Yeah, the echo is still there.
Okay. Hi, Missy.
Perfect.
Now perfect. All right. So I will facilitate the webinar session for you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Aini, by the
Nice
way.
to meet you, Amy.
Hi. We'll wait for the rest to be here lah.
Sure, no problem. Let me know when we can start.
Yeah.
Hi, Amy. Can I check one thing with you?
Yes.
I would like to share my screen because I have the slides for the briefing.
All right.
Yeah, but I think the host will need to give me access for the screen sharing.
All right. Okay. Have you requested me, Sim?
Okay, I've been given the access.
Yes. All right.
That's great. Okay, let me show the slides.
Okay.
Can you see my slides now?
Yes. Very clear.
Great.
Nisim, hi. We have now for I think 19 participants already.
Oh,
Okay, so can we start?
sure, no problem.
All right, okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. Welcome everyone to our research webinar on UK-Malaysia University Partnership Catalyst Grant 2022. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Aimi Shahida from RMC and I'll be your moderator for today's webinar. So before we begin, a few housekeeping rules for our smooth flow of today's webinar. So today's webinar will be conducted in an hour. So from 2 until 3. The session by our speaker will be for about 45 minutes and there will be a Q&A session that will be conducted after the session for about 15 minutes. So to ensure smooth running of our webinar today, you are encouraged to post any question during the session at the chat box. So we will conduct the Q&A session after the end of the session. We would also appreciate for all participants to mute respective microphone to avoid any disruption during the webinar session. Right, ladies and gentlemen, so we have with us here Miss Yen Sim, the head of Newton Fund and Science, British Council Malaysia, that will share with us her sharing on her topic, how to apply Catalyst Grant 2022. So welcome, Miss Sim, with your presentation.
Thank you so much, Aimi. First of all, I'd like to thank RMC UTHM for inviting me for this session. Very honored to be here. I think I visited UTHM like years before on the Newton Fund projects, so that's been some time. Let's just kickstart with this. So I'm Yen Sim, Yen Sim full name, but everyone know me as Sim. So if you talk to anyone in British Council, Sim, they will definitely know that it's me. I'm the head of Newton Fund, as mentioned on the job title. I've been with British Council for 7 years, mainly taking charge and lead the science and research related programs. That's why Newton Fund is one of the biggest programs for British Council in Malaysia. And then we have been running a lot. I think UTHM is one of the grant recipients in the past 7 years. So I hope that this round, when we had this Catalyst grant, which is actually funded, organized by British Council, together with the UK-Malaysia Consortium. So I will give a bit of background, what is the UK-Malaysia University Consortium, and then I will also talk about the Catalyst grant, how you can apply it, what is the process look like, and how the assessment and criteria for it. Let's go into the first part of it. So as you can see on my screen, this Catalyst grant is under the Going Global Partnerships. It's British Council's global programs, aims to build stronger, inclusive, internationally connected higher education system, including TVET, which to support economic and social growth. And that actually quite aligned with our Malaysia plans and our higher education plan. So this is actually one of the programs that we run in Malaysia for British Council. It will be until 2025 at least. So the overall program's objectives or the outcomes we hope to achieve through Going Global Partnerships is to enable research, internationalize the higher education TVET institutions, look into strengthening higher education TVET systems, as well as to enhance student outcomes. So you can see that I think these 4 pillars of the outcomes are also what we actually are really needed now for our higher education in Malaysia and also in this region. So what is actually UK-Malaysia University Consortium? We launched this consortium initiative back in 2022, together with 16 universities in the UK and 20 public universities in Malaysia with the support of the Malaysian Ministry of Higher Education. So with that, we kickstart with the consortium with the secretariat participated by the Department of Higher Education under the Academic Excellence Division, and then work together with a secretariat that is based in UK, which is the Liverpool John Moores University. So through this consortium, we will actually offer a number of what it calls activities and benefits for the members of the consortium. What we mean is that the secretariat, together with all the members, will organize webinars, will organize programs, or look into potential partnerships to enhance the 4 pillars outcomes that I mentioned in my previous slide. So that we can look into that will be a more strategic engagement and bilateral cooperation. We don't aim to just limit to the 20 public universities and 16 universities in the UK, but this is a start point. So where we start with, when we open call, we have all the 20 public universities in Malaysia join us, and then the 16 universities in UK apply to join us as well. Then it comes with a Catalyst grant. So Catalyst grant, it's part of this UK-Malaysia University Consortium activities. So the objective of it is to enhance, to help the universities between UK and Malaysia under this consortium to form the partnerships or expand their partnerships. So as I mentioned very clearly, that is a grant and it is a restricted call, which means it doesn't open to everyone, but then the consortium members, definitely UTHM is one of the public university in Malaysia, will be eligible to apply for it with their UK partners, which is also a member of the UK University Consortium member. So that actually overall will address the thematic areas that we have selected for this call. And then you can work with any of the UK University Consortium member to apply it. Without further delays, I'm going into this thematic areas. So you can see that these 4 areas that we have picked up is based on the higher education division, academic excellence division, the recommendations, and also the priorities of the universities consortium members. So what happened is we have get the Secretariat LJMU to issue a template to find out what are the interests of these universities in terms of partnerships, what they wanted to do in the coming few years. So we shortlisted these 4 areas, and then we established these grants for the purpose of this enhancing the partnerships. The first area you can see is student employability and future work skills. The second one is about academic program transformation. Then we are talking about competency-based curriculum, digitalization, pedagogy. And then the third area is about entrepreneurship. And the last one is about women leadership and empowerment in the workplace, any workplace. So it doesn't have to be in the universities. We're talking in general across the society in the workplace. And if you wanted to know the context of these thematic areas, why do we pick it? How do we apply? You can actually look into Appendix 1 of the core guidelines, which you can get on our website. That is at the download session. So there are like 6 or 7 files that you have to download in order to apply for these grants, and one of them will be the core guidelines. And then Appendix 1 is one of the documents to discuss about the content or the context of the thematic areas. We strongly encourage that these proposals are cross-thematic, which means you don't have to address only one of these areas. If you can touch on 2 areas or 3 areas, we really welcome the kind of cross-thematic and cross-disciplinary proposals. So for this one, the Catalyst grant itself, we have a total of 4 grants. Each grant will be 55,000. And then you can run the project starting from 1st October 2022 all the way to 31st December 2022. So which means it is a total of 15 months. And then you can cover the following activities in your project that include any activities that can strengthen capacity and quality in teaching, learning, research, and innovation. Anything that can actually fit into sharing knowledge and exchange best practices, which means you can have student mobility programs, you can have staff exchange programs to be applied under this grant. The last one would be to establish institutional partnerships. So it can be new partnership or existing partnerships. in the following areas like student and staff mobility, internships and attachment, research and innovation, transnational education. But one thing I really want to make it very clear is that this is, unfortunately, this is not a scientific research grant, which means like if you're looking into something like Newton Fund, so I'm sorry, this is not the grant, because this is a catalyst grant aiming to improve the 4 pillars that I mentioned earlier. So from student employability and future work skills, academic progress, definitely no problem. You can conduct research under this, but it has to be related to these 4 thematic areas. So when I mention it's not a scientific grant or innovative grants, it means that you're not using it for technology transfer or to do the fundamental scientific research and things like that. Okay, so it's different from Newton Fund because it's the British Council grants and it aims to improve areas that we really needed for higher education in today's world. So then we look into more of the general scope of curriculum, academic side of it. So how do we actually will run these grants once you are successfully applied it? That would be the grant agreement for sure. So if you are successfully selected, the grant agreement that we actually sign will be with the UK university. I think this is mainly because of our financial arrangement. We can't actually transfer our pool of the grants is all sit with UK in the UK office. So we sign the grant agreement with the UK university, and then we'll channel funding to the UK university, in which the UK university will transfer the funding to Malaysia University. So what we actually expect is that for now, when you are interested to apply for this grant, after you identify which UK university you would like to work and your the lead recipient or the lead applicant, you will have to discuss clearly with them how they're going to disperse that funding to you. Because I think in the past, under Newton Fund, we have some issues as well that university do not get the advance. So it will be good for you to bring this up clearly with your partner in the UK. Tell them that the funding management and disbursement arrangement must be discussed, because in this catalyst grant, we actually ask the lead applicants to submit a letter that describes the funding arrangement and disbursements, agree on that, signed by both leading universities for the application. Because we'll need this to be made very clear, because once the project start in October, we hope there will not be any hiccups, and then that the funding doesn't go through, and then it can't actually you can't kickstart the project. So I appreciate that you bring this up with your UK partner and discuss with them. So if you have any problem, then come back to us and see how we can support you. So I think that wouldn't be any problem. In terms of the reporting for this grant, it requires a progress report every 6 months and a final report. So earlier on, I say it's a 15 months project duration. Of course, you can choose to end it early. And maybe you need only 12 months. Then what we mean is that you need to give the first progress report 6 months. And then the last one will be a final, there will be the second report when at the months of, just I mentioned 12 months, right? So 6 months, one report. The second 6 months, it will be the end already, right? So you need to give a final report. So if you're using 15 months, which means that you need to give 2 progress report, and then after 3 months, you will need to give the third report, which is the final report. Right. So what happened is that British Council, we will conduct regular monitoring and evaluation, and sometimes we do have independent commission evaluations by the funder. So British Council grants, all grants are actually are given by the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO, in the UK. So they can actually commission an external audit on the grants that we actually pay out to the universities. So we encourage that you all keep the records up to the retention period. So for Malaysia, it is 7 years. So just keep it with you all until for 7 years. And I'm sure that when you do the progress report, it will include a financial report as well. you will need to actually be provided some kind of supporting documents, and that supporting documents will be actually for part of this purpose as well. All right, so now we come to the payments. So for the payments itself, we will advance 90% in September after we finalize the results. And then the 10% balance will be released after we review the report in January and February in 2023 or 2024, sorry. So January and February 2024. And then what happened is, if you only use up 12 months to complete your report and you submit it after 1 month, we will also start reviewing the report, and we'll try to settle the balance by then as well. So that January and February 2024 is more of a general reference. So because we're hoping that you will need 15 months to complete it, because I do think that sometimes we would ask some extension or unforeseen circumstances that you would like to have more time. My personal suggestion is that you put 15 months, and then you can actually complete it accordingly, and then you don't have to ask for extension, because it's a bit not easy for us to get the extension, because it really depends on the grant situation in 2024. And then as you understand as well, I think in the past 2 years, a pandemic actually has disrupted quite a lot of other grant disbursements and the payments and all the arrangement, and disturb even the field work of the research. So to avoid this kind of situation to happen, we actually encourage you to really realistically look into your project duration, and then extension we might consider, but then it will be good for you to bring it up for our discussion a bit more earlier. So we expect that let's say you are finishing your project, maybe you estimate to finish in December 2023, and you think you can't make it by December 2023, you would like to ask for extension, come to us 3 to 6 months before the end of December 2023. So which means give us a bit of time before the end of your project, so that we can discuss what we can do with it. Is it to provide an extension, or is it like you have some unforeseen circumstances, some of these activities cannot be carried out? Then you come to us much earlier, so that we can discuss whether this funding can be reused on other purpose, or is it you need to rebudget for something else. Because it's not just us here have to make a decision. It's not only Malaysia office. It has to go to the UK office as well. And then there will be levels of communication, will take a bit of time. So that is what we want to highlight to you for the spending. So any request to use underspend, send to us on the email that is on this slide. And then, or if you have any unforeseen circumstances, also please write to us. We actually appreciate that a lot. So between 3 to 6 months before end of the project period. One more thing I would like to highlight is that when we issue the grants, of course, maybe it's not applied to Malaysia University, because we're going to sign with the UK University, right? I wanted to mention here because it would be good for you to know how we actually deal with the UK universities, and then you know how the grant is being transferred to them. So what happened is, after we give the 90% of the advance grant in September, UK University, they will receive a notification about that payment, right? So they should be able to get back to us by December to tell them they have received it and they are happy with it. And then they have kickstart the project with the partner, with Malaysia University. So you can see that all successful applicants, they have to email us confirming they have received the funds by 1st December 2022. We need that to happen because sometimes it may be overlooked, and then after that 3 months when you all want to start and then want to run activities and found out, hey, the grant is not there. How do we going to start this? So I think that would be easier than UK University would need to write to us and tell us they have received the grants. And then the arrangement that they make with the Malaysia universities have been followed on. Okay. So how about the application itself? What is actually required for the application? So first of all, is to have a UK university and a Malaysia university to jointly apply. Both the universities would need to be the members of the UK-Malaysia University Consortium. So you can refer to the list, which is on the core guidelines, Appendix 2. And so you will know who are the UK universities that you can work with. So if, let's say, you have a third university you want to involve and it's not in the list, and then you would like them to contribute to the project, you can surely involve them as an associated partner. So as one of the partners for this project, it's just that they are not the lead applicants. Okay. Second criteria that we have or requirements for the application is that this project proposer will need to be official development aid eligibility. So the ODA eligibility is not a new term for those who are actually very familiar with Newton Fund, because ODA eligibility is one of the government funding requirements from the UK. What it means is that this proposer must show the potential of contributing to the economic development and social welfare of Malaysia, particularly the low-income and vulnerable population in Malaysia. So I think this is quite straightforward, because when you jointly apply, when you do something, they will have to, with Malaysia, definitely you are aligning your plan with certain Malaysia government plans or sustainable development goals of the United Nations. So you have already got some in mind. That would already quite straightforward apply into this ODA eligibility. So it shouldn't be like something out of the somewhere that you plug it out. No, I think that will be automatically come in what they call that fall in place for you when you apply based on the Malaysia development plans that we have, the United Nations sustainable development goals we have, right? So all these proposals, what we request for you to include in your application is a pathway to show that you have 5 to 10 years of the short to medium term outcomes or impacts, right? Application which is good but do not meet this criteria will not be awarded at all, even though it's really a good proposal. But if you are not meeting this, you're not showing the impact 5 to 10 years, or you're not showing it's contributing to the economic development and social welfare of Malaysia, it won't show anything. So what I would suggest is that you discuss with the UK university to come up with something that can mutually benefit both universities. And then that will help to enhance the 4 key thematic areas that we mentioned earlier. And you can refer to the Appendix 1, where we tell you about the context and background of the 4 thematic areas, to use the sources, the mentioning there to strengthen your proposal to meet this ODA eligibility, right? So the last part is the associated partners, which I mentioned earlier. If you have any university or even industries, businesses that you want to involve in your project, and they are not the consortium member, no problem. List them as one of your associated members or associated partners for the proposal. The only the catch is that the profit organizations or the industry or businesses, they are not able to receive any funding, which means once you apply a budget, and then you might think of disperse some of this budget or funding to one of your associated partner for some activities. But if they are industries or businesses, they cannot receive this funding, because this funding is a government taxpayer funding, and it can't just go for any profit use. It's very difficult to justify. But then definitely no issue to go to a third non-for-profit organization, CSOs, NGOs, or even you say another university. So we can arrange for a portion of the funding go to them for activities. For the application, you will need to prepare this list of documents. I'm not going into the details, so you know the series of the lead applicants, the letter of support from both universities, because the lead university needs to agree that they will manage the funding. And then the letters of support from the associated partners. If you have associated partners, this letter will tell what they're going to contribute, what their roles are in the letter to show that they're happy to take part in this project. Letter on management, funding management and disbursement arrangement. I think I actually explained it very clearly in my previous slide. Activity-based budget, Appendix 5, Gantt chart, activity-based M&E plan, Appendix 7, and then the university bank details, Appendix 8. So 5, 7, and 8, these appendices, you can get it online on our website. As for the process, this is also pretty straightforward. Start with a joint applications between the UK and Malaysia lead applicants, then submit the application online, one application only, not two, one application, because it's a joint submission. Submit it online. The link is provided in the core guidelines. And then follow the instructions on the online application form. So the instructions on the form, it's actually mentioned that how you can submit your supporting documents, because the platform don't allow you to upload the documents. You have to label the documents and send it to us separately on a different using an email address. So so make sure that you follow the instructions. So on the towards the end of the online application form, they will tell you clearly what you need to do to submit these supporting documents. You will also need to tick what supporting documents you're going to submit on the form. So next we have the criteria. This assessment criteria that all these applications have to meet the eligibility criteria given in the guidelines. You can actually check on the part eligibility criteria. What happened is that applications that do not meet all these eligibility criteria will not be considered. So what happened is that when after you submit the applications and we close the call, we will be assessing the application. We'll screen the applications for the first time, and then we'll see whether you complete all the complete the form, whether you have provided the required supporting document. So if this requires supporting documents and the form is not completed, we will actually not shortlist you for the assessment. So please remember that you meet the eligibility criteria, which is the documents, complete the form, and then making sure that the costing that you do, it's actually meeting the correct costing. So what happened is we have eligible cost and not eligible cost. So those eligible costs, I think is quite generous to support the project staff, like research assistant, or to pay for the activities like travel, organizing workshops and stuff like that, right? Flights, accommodation. The ineligible cost, I think, is the most important, that you need to go through the list and know what is not covered under this grant. And the first one will be the full economic cost. I don't think Malaysia, we have it. Malaysia University has it. It's more applied for the UK universities. But generally, it says that you cannot charge the equipment and the facilities cost from the university into this project. I believe other grants, different grants, they have different criteria, but for this catalyst grant, the full economic costing is not allowed. But since this does not apply to Malaysian university, you do not need to really pay attention to it. But the second and the following one, like I mentioned, the staff cost of the participating organization or the associated partner, we don't support the staff cost. The promotional activities, that is actually for recruitment purposes. because recruitment is one of the commercial activity of the university and we cannot fund that. But definitely if you are looking into having a partnership to offer a PhD or master's course, but it's not used for recruitment, but only to establish the partnership, like flying over there to discuss it, organize the staff workshop to help strengthen the capacity in order to establish the curriculum, that we actually allowed for the grant. We also talk about institutional overheads here, costs associated with the scholarships, purchase or rental of standard office equipment. So these are all not allowed under these grants. You cannot apply for it. The assessment criteria for this grant, it's separated into 3 categories. The first category is about the proposal and also whether they are relevant to the official development aid purpose that I mentioned in my early slide. And then the ability to deliver. So who are your team members? Of course, the CVs are important. And then also need to look into the overall proposal structure, whether it's feasible, can it be actually completed within 15 months, and how it can create positive outcomes or impactful outcomes after 15 months or even long term from 5 to 10 years. And then whether you have a delivery plan, including the Gantt chart and the M&E plan. So that is about 40% of the assessment. The second category of the assessment criteria is to align the proposals with the strategic objectives of the grant and the consortium, to demonstrate how you achieve the grant objectives and to meet the consortium strategy objectives. So basically it's about partnerships. How do you actually achieve a mutual benefits and partnerships between the universities and with the associated partners? So that is about 30% of the total assessment. And then the last category of the assessment criteria is on sustainability, equality, diversity, and inclusion. And the last one is value for money. That is about 30%. So we are looking into how this can be sustainable. So this will actually reflect on your 5 to 10 years plan as well. So then how sustainable this project, can it be continue beyond the grant duration? And then we also look into equality, diversity, and inclusion. I will actually share a bit more in my next slide. The last one is value for money, right? So it's how you can more efficiently or effectively use your grant to achieve more. So that is a total of 30% for the last category of criteria. And please note that for applications, only those that score 70% above will be actually, after assessment, will be shortlisted for selection. So which means we have actually 2 panels. The first panel is the assessors, a group of assessors to assess the applications. The second group is a panel of from British Council, from FCDO, and with the Ministry of Higher Education Malaysia to form to form a panel to select the final awards for this grant. So only those that score 70% will be shortlisted and pass to the second panel for the final selection. Right, I'm not going into detail. I have explained this. So just please note that towards at the bottom of this presentation, there's a due diligence and financial screening. So it's a requirement that we have based on our British Council policy. We will have to do a due diligence screening on all the universities. For Malaysia, I think it doesn't really apply because now we are talking about public universities. and you're part of the government structure. So this is not applying to you, but UK universities, they all will have to go through the screening. And then after the screening, if everything is okay, we will announce the results, and then we will contact you for the grant signing. The grant signing, we will copy the Malaysia lead applicant in there so that you know that we are announcing the results, and then you will know we have contact your UK partner for the grant signing process. So now we come to the important dates for this Catalyst grant. You need to note that we have this clarification questions to be submitted by applicants, but I noticed that the date is 5th July. Yeah, so yes. If you like us to extend a bit, I would hope that you can write to us. I need to discuss with the management and see if we can extend it a bit more. Basically, what we ask is more from the UK side, because sorry, not about the UK side. If you have questions you would like to ask us, you let us know, and maybe we can extend the questions. But for the terms of contract, you can see the next line, request for amendments to terms of contract is also before 5th July. That is more for the UK university, because when they sign the grant agreement with us, they need to agree to our terms and conditions. And we are not going to negotiate for the terms and conditions after we announce the results. They will have to negotiate with us now. So I would actually encourage you from Malaysia, when you discuss with your UK universities, highlight to them, ask them to go through the contract terms, and then get to us if they wanted to change some of the terms, because we need to go to our contract team as well. So you understand that we have to go to contract team, then we have to go through the management, then we have to come back, back and forth. I think it will take up a bit of time. I don't think we can definitely extend it a bit more, but I think maybe another week. But so far we have not really received this request to amend the terms of the contract. I guess because I think most of you all have worked with us for many times, and then the UK universities are very familiar with our grant agreement. So I hope everything will be okay. But in terms of the questions you want to clarify with us, please write to us and tell us that what is it. We will try to extend a few more days so that you can ask us the questions. And then we will reply everything by 19th July. There is a gap between this, a 2 weeks gap. That is actually more for us to go to different teams and departments to confirm the response. So we need a bit of lead time before we close the application. The application will close on 2nd August officially. And then the eligibility check, proposal assessment, and due diligence will happen between 3rd August all the way to 19th August. We will notify the proposal outcome by 26th August. And then the signing will all happen after that, and to be complete by 15th September. After that, we will do an inception meeting for all the successful grant recipients in end September. Then the project will start implement from 1st October all the way to 31st December 2023. And then I have listed also the 6 months progress report submission timeline. It may not apply to you if you wanted to have run your project a bit shorter, like 12 months or 9 months. But then this is like an official timeline we provided for those who run the project for 15 months. So we have a bit of advice for applicants, especially for the equality, diversity, and inclusion statement, or we call it gender statement. Basically, it is for you to consider your outputs, your outcomes, the composition of the project teams, the participants, stakeholders, and beneficiaries of the project, and consider your programs, whether it has any impact on the gender, on equality, or diversity, or inclusion. So we actually encourage the project recipient to think about it, how your project play a role in supporting or at least not harming or make it worse in terms of the equality, diversity, and inclusion. What we actually request you is not to restate your institution policy. I think Malaysia University, there will be some kind of diversity or inclusion statement. For UK University, definitely they have an EDI policy. So we don't want to see your institution policy. What we want is that you discuss how your project can have considered all these elements in your project proposal. So we can discuss about your team composition, like you have include different people in your composition, both female and males, or maybe disabled persons. If we think about to benefit them in your workshop, how you can bring them as part of your participants, or even the community, like we are talking about B40, that you can be part of this EDI as well. Like, for example, the access of internet connection, like you want to do an online webinar, maybe some of them don't have internet connection. So how do you bring them on board? Is that you're going to provide some kind of assistance to help them get some phone credits to go online? If you are thinking something like that to address the EDI in your project, to provide support for the participants, you can actually make a special request to us as well. We can allow you to use some of this amount for this purpose. Right? All right, so other advice, which is quite straightforward, we actually want a solid plan on comms, promotion, and publicity for this project to be shared with external parties and stakeholders. So the project applicant will have to plan for the comms and promotion of the project. The digital platform, for British Council, we have a policy. We actually recommend the use of Microsoft Teams. If you're using a Google Meet, or you're using Zoom like this one, you can actually write to us and tell us about it to discuss. Because we are very concerned about the data leakages. So we just want to protect the confidentiality and the privacy of the participants and everything. So please do suggest you to use the Microsoft Teams. Co-funding and in-kind contributions is another area. It's not a criterion for us for this grant, but it does add value to the proposal. And then we will actually give extra consideration when we assess and select the project proposals. Grant agreement itself, what I have mentioned earlier, it has to be reviewed, but it's mainly with the UK University. So, but when you discuss, I would encourage you to highlight it to them. Supporting documents, okay, I don't think I need to go into details on this. Right, this is the last part of the presentation. We have actually collected some Q&A when we did the first briefing with the consortium members. I think that was in June. We have collected some questions and we have tried to answer it. So participants asking if they have secured a UK-Malaysia consortium grant before, can they apply for this round? Yes, we will consider them as same as any other applications. They're also asking whether the proposal has to be in one area. Can it be involving multiple activities like mobility and linked to research? No problem. You can do that as well, because we don't hope that you only have one single activity. It can be multiple activities as long as it contributes to the outcomes of the proposal and align with the grant objectives. What we want to say is this is not innovative scientific research grants, so you can't use it for that purpose. So there are also questions about whether they can do a case study competition in the university about leadership and entrepreneurship, or develop module to train the students. Would it be one of the scope? Yes, capacity building and strengthening is one of the scopes. So this is one of the activity examples that you can do under your project. Last question, what are the area of studies covered for the grant? We say there's no specific area. It's mainly that you need to align it with the 4 thematic areas that we listed in the earlier slide. And this question is about UK-Malaysia collaboration. Do you need a third partner? Yes, it's a UK and Malaysia collaboration. You can include a third partner that is not from UK and Malaysia. Any countries we can actually allow that for this grant. Just make sure that you are clear about their roles and responsibilities, because you need to outline their roles in the application form, and then you need to know what they can contribute to this project, and they are happy to be part of your project. There must be a letter of support from them to be submitted together along with the application. How many partners can be included? There's no limit, but you need to consider the resources as well, because it's a 55,000 grants. So do you need a lot or just a few? I think it's your decision. But we make it very clear that profit organization, commercial industries cannot receive a partial of the funding from these grants. They can contribute though, they can contribute the funding for this project. So, right, I think I have answered some of the questions in my presentation. Right, this is about research collaboration opportunity. Unfortunately, this is not for scientific research. But if you are thinking to discuss or establish a partnership about innovative pedagogy in this area, in science area, in STEM area, no problem, that you can apply. And because it could link to student employability, future skills, you can actually even talk about women leadership in this subject area. So as long as it is not for scientific research, it is all for academic purpose. That actually can be one of the potential application. Right, I don't think I'm going to go through this in details. I will share this slide with all of you, then you can take a look at this. There are questions about what evidence do we have to support our application. So again, I mentioned you need to make sure that you meet all the eligibility criteria, right? Can the scheme allow collaborative postgraduate project funding? Yes, you can actually collaborate on postgraduate project, but then we don't fund the sponsorship and then or scholarship, or even pay for you to recruit the students. So what you can do is to initiate the partnership, look into discussions, staff exchange, student strengthening, as long as just not cover the cost to recruit. If you don't have a university in the UK, you do not know any of this UK consortium university, write to us. We can help you we will link you with one of them. But do make sure that in your email, tell us clearly what your project proposal about, what is the objective. Then we can find out which university are interested in it, and then we can link you up with them. Okay, what is the success rate? We ran the first round of Catalyst grant in 2021. We received 11 applications back then, and we awarded 6 grants. We're not so sure how many grants we received. I think we will receive a bit more applications this round because people know it better. It's the second time we run it. And we only awarded 4 grants. We are going to award 4 grants and not 6. So the success rate, I think it will lower down a bit, but then I hope it's not that much, but it's still reasonable. Would there be any match grant provided by Ministry of Higher Education? Also, this is one of the, back then, the participant from Malaysia asking about it. We welcome any additional funding or in-kind contribution. For now, we don't have, the grants are all by the British Council. We haven't really discussed with the Ministry of Higher Education about it, but definitely Ministry of Higher Education are very interested in supporting this initiative. So we will encourage that you actually also try to look additional funding by working with businesses and industry partners. Right, this is the last slide. Is there any other questions? I hope I don't take too much of time.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Sim, for sharing the information on the guidelines and procedures to apply the Catalyst grant. I'm sure it will benefit everyone, UTHM staff and researchers. So, if you have any question, you can ask directly to our speaker.
Hi, Ms. Sim, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Nice to meet you, by the way. Thank you for your talk. It's very good talk. Anyway, I have several questions. Number one, it's about the eligibility of the age. What kind of age is it? Is it below 40 or can somebody more than 40 can apply this? That's number one. Number two, it's about the idea of the research work, because in this case, I can see that we need to have a link with the university in UK, meaning that the university invite us, and then the idea, maybe like in context of Malaysia, yeah, maybe the people will ask us what content of research. So in this thing, we need to, there is some sort like, you know, yeah, they have to discuss each other to meet the suitable topic of research. So really be a delay then, because sometimes when the grant is open, we need to submit it immediately. Yeah, but in this case, we have to wait. We have to discuss with the UK university and then blah blah blah, and then afterward we come up with a good title, then we can submit it. So how about this? So can you comment on this? Thank you.
I can answer the first question first, but I think second, I might need to get a bit more clarification on it. In terms of age limit, there's no age limit. Anyone can apply for it as long as it meets the thematic areas that we offer under the grant. And then it's also meet all the eligibility criteria listed for this grant. I think regarding your second question, I think it's more about the collaboration. Yes, it will really require time and efforts to discuss, to jointly apply for this grant, because it ultimately aims to enhance the partnership between UK and Malaysia universities. I believe it's not straightforward as like other international grants, especially like I ran the Newton Fund in the past 7 years. I see a lot of discussion, and even some of this have to be you know, planned in advance and have a good proposal in mind in order to submit for it. So I would encourage that even now you don't have a link with the UK university, you can start identifying one, and then from there, develop the kind of discussion with them first. And then if you doesn't but no cannot submit it this round, this cycle, we might actually offer the third cycle and the fourth cycle for you to submit. So I would really encourage that you start looking into all the potential collaborations and prepare some of these ideas. As I understand that a lot of these collaborations require a lot of Zoom meetings, Teams meetings, and then to fill the application form. We provide a copy of the application form, downloadable copy on the website for you to, you know, work on it without using the online form. And then from there, you can transfer the details to the online. So far as I see, whoever that is within the consortium, most of the applicants have got some kind of idea what they wanted to do to, for example, establish maybe for a PhD course, or maybe for the PhD students to go to UK, or from UK to Malaysia, the kind of exchange programs. You don't have to start from a really big one, like a small feasible project that you can manage to kickstart the partnership, we actually appreciate that kind of proposal. I'm not so sure if I answer your question correctly.
Okay, thank you. By the way, and one question, because as I can see here, we need to follow the interest of the major part. Is this from UK University, right? So they will ask us what the contact of suitable research in Malaysia. And then in this case, if we don't have enough expertise, for example, if we want to invite others, researchers from other university in Malaysia, is it okay or not?
You can involve them as part of the associated partner. This grant actually not really like follow the interest of the universities, because before we launch this grant, we actually have go through a collection of information of both Malaysia and UK universities, like to find out what their interests are. Therefore, we actually come up with this grant. So these 4 thematic areas definitely is the interest of both UK and Malaysia. What we want to see is that this grant will benefit both UK and Malaysia universities, and not just following one university on what they wanted to do. So let's say you're looking into develop your staff capacity in certain, I don't know, engineering skill, and you found that this UK university have it and you would like to apply for it, then work with them to come up with a proposal that can help the kind of exchange, because they are also interested in sending their students here to expose them. So perhaps then your proposal can include a staff capacity building to the UK, and then a student exchange program from the UK students to Malaysia University. Then you will meet both ends of the interest in that manner. So I hope this helped. But let's say, like I mentioned, if you don't have any UK university in mind, you do not know who is interested in your interest, let us know. We will try to identify one for you from that list of the 16 UK universities.
Okay. In some case, I think I have one experience a long time ago. My alma mater, my friend in Bristol University, they invite me to collaborate in Newton Fund. And then what I did is I have to discuss with him and then do the draft the proposal and then submit to him. So meaning that if this kind of collaboration, meaning that the main university is from UK. The UK will submit for us. So we submit our proposal to UK, and then the UK people will submit it to British Council in UK. So can you comment on this?
Okay. I think there's a lot of working style. I'm not so sure, because they ask you to prepare the proposal and then they submit to the UK. From UK they have to submit. I think it's because the portal can be accessed by both UK and Malaysia. It doesn't have to be by the UK university. It can be done by Malaysia University as well. But one of the parties will have to do it. In this way, actually, the UK university is doing it for you. I actually would suggest that what I can see a few good examples based on my experience is that you do not do the proposal and send it to the UK university. It's actually through the Zoom meeting or Teams meeting, you both discuss and come up with a proposal together on a document. And then one of you have to agree for that person to go online and submit it. It is the case for this one as well. We only have one online form for submission. So you will have to have the discussion with them. We do not encourage that one party doing the proposal, the other party doing the submission, and then in the end, I think when you submit it online, what happened is you may not know what had happened after that, right? So it's better to organize the meetings. Like for myself, when I work on Newton Fund, I work a lot with the UK colleagues as well. Like I actually provide the local contacts. My UK colleagues provide the UK contacts, and then they oversee the grants, right? How the UK government do the grants. So when we work together, there was a lot of evening discussions, because we start about like 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon Malaysia time. Their time is about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. Then we need to go through the document together. We have to discuss, okay, which partner we can include. So this is why sometimes, right, being a consortium member, there is a benefit, because the consortium are going to organize a lot of this kind of webinars, where the UK and Malaysia university will be invited, and there will be group discussion to join for you to discuss with the UK universities you are interested in, or the area you are interested in, about your ideas. When you have an idea, the person have an idea, you jointly develop that ideas, and then this is how you come up with the joint partnership, and then you apply for the grants. So this is some good examples that I have seen how to work together through all this Newton Fund jointly apply proposal. One thing I would point out is that the funding, because of some of the limitation, depending on the types of programs, even for Newton Fund, we have so many programs. The way of funding is different. How the funder or the organizer actually channel the funding is kind of different as well. Like for British Council, because our funding has to channel from the UK, so we can't channel from UK all the way back to Malaysia, because there's no institution. So like our Malaysia partner will transfer the funding to Malaysia universities, where else we will transfer to UK universities, and then they will actually further share the funding with the Malaysia universities, or for the Malaysia universities to share the funding further with their UK universities. So that kind of arrangement need to be discussed. So this is why sometimes it feels like when you're not discussing it, you feel like, oh, the one who hold the money have more power to actually control the budget. But then what we wanted to tell you is that through the collaborations, like even for this round, the funding need to be submitted with a supporting document to tell that you have discussed about the funding arrangement. How are you going to manage the funding together? And then be actually clear about it. So I hope that actually this can address the issue. But overall, I have seen a lot of good examples where UK and Malaysia universities work really closely on the project, and then they don't have any issue because they are mutual understanding and the rapport that have been developed. So this is what we hope that we can achieve through this grant as well.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you, it's crystal clear. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Zaidi.
Mr. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Right, thank you. Is there any more questions before we end the session?
A straightforward question. Hi, Sim.
Hello.
Is there any chance to see the example of the accepted grant, the 6th grant they already accepted? Any chance to see that?
I think we publish it
our
on
reference.
I do not have the list now, but you could actually access the website to get the 6 awards. We actually have published the names. Perhaps I can, I mean, you asked them to register tonight, right? I think I could then share the link with you, and then you can share the later.
Yes. Yeah.
The last year
That would be
one,
nice. Yeah.
yeah, thank you. I think last year I didn't actually manage the grants for this one, so I need to refer it to colleagues and get the website for you, that you can see the projects.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Someone.
Yeah. Hi, Miss Sim. I just have a very short question. How can a consortium UK member join this partnership? Yeah, I mean, join as a consortium member. Let's say the university that we would like to work with is not in the list. So how can they join into the list?
Okay. So what happened is we just started the consortium last year. What we did last year is we have opened a call to invite UK universities to submit their applications. So whoever have applied actually have shortlisted and selected to be the consortium member. I think we will actually will launch the second phase. Once we launch a second phase, we will actually open up this opportunity for other UK universities. But I think I'm not in charge on the overall of the Going Global partnerships. I'm not so sure about the timeline, maybe in a year or two, because we need to strengthen what we have now, and then we can move on to the second phase. So do pay a bit of attention maybe on our website or sign up our newsletter. Then you can get the first-hand information about the call.
Okay, thank you for your information. Thanks.
Thank you.
Right, thank you. Okay, is there any more questions? Okay, is that all? Right, okay. Thank you, Ms. Sim. So we have come to the end of today's webinar. So any inquiries to everyone on the application, kindly just contact me, Cik Aimi Shahida or Cik Nur Fazlina. Right. To all researchers, kindly be informed that we have already provided the link for application in our email announcement. So, and don't forget to fill up the Google form link attached in the chat box here, the third link for your attendance record. Right, on behalf of the organizers, our sincere thanks to our Miss Speaker, Miss Sim. Thank you so much, Miss Sim, and all participants for taking part in this webinar. So thank you very much. Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera.
Thank you. Thank you, Aimi. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Miss Sim. Thank you. Okay, bye.
Oh,
Bye. Have a good day.
Ajak, wait, before we end the session, can all participants on your camera for our picture? Yeah, it's for our record. Okay. Satu, dua, tiga. Right, 1, 2, 3. Sebelahnya 1, 2, 3. Alright. Okay. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Have a great day. Bye.
Okay, thank you, Miss Sim.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Take care.
Bye. Take care.
Very much.